Hello, my name is Doug Brown. I'm Executive Director of the Connecticut Bar Association, and welcome to this episode of BarChat. I have with me today Bill Jawitz. Bill is the founder of SuccessTrackESQ, a business coaching and consulting firm for lawyers. Bill's worked exclusively with lawyers for the last 14 years, and today we're here to talk about the power of practice focus and building your niche as an attorney. Welcome, Bill. Good to have you.
Thanks, Doug.
We've talked a lot over the years working together and on different programs of the power of developing a practice focus and a niche. Why do you think that's so important?
Out of the roughly 1.25 million lawyers in the U.S. and the 930,000 or so who are in private practice as opposed to government, for example, to merely say that you're a litigator creates no differentiation. To merely say you're a corporate attorney or that you do personal injury. And so the more specifically you articulate who your ideal client is, what your expertise is, what your passion is, and passion's an overused term, I grant that.
Right.
The more you're able to effectively reach prospective clients who have that need at the time, and the centers of influence, the referral sources who say, boy, a business client of mine has come with this particular financial situation, it's international, it's mezzanine level securities, and so we really need somebody who knows that world. And if you just say you're a corporate attorney, you're not going to stand out in the mind of that referral source in the moment. Whereas if you have demonstrated thought leadership and experience in that particular area, maybe because it's an India practice. More firms are building India practices right now, as you can imagine. That allows you to differentiate and allows you to go deeper into your expertise and allows you to, in many cases, charge premium prices because you are demonstrating an understanding of the client condition that is deeper than if you don't focus on a particular area and you take any kind of work that comes in the door, basically speaking.
Yeah, so you've been doing this for a long time, and niching has become a little more popular with lawyers in recent years. Are you still seeing people that are saying, look, I just need to be the general practitioner? Are people resisting that need to that idea about niching?
Less so now, because people get it with web marketing, and they're seeing the trends that small to mid-sized general practice firms are going away. People are going solo, boutique, niche, or they're being sucked up, practice groups are being sucked up by larger firms. And so there's a little less resistance to it because the general culture is moving towards specialization and expertise, and so they sort of say, geez, I guess I have to get on the ball here and do that. It can be challenging, though. Certainly.
Sure. What are some examples of firms that you've seen niche successfully and still play within the world of the, as a lawyer, you can't call yourself a specialist and you have to be careful how you describe your practice.
Sure.
What are some successful examples you can think of?
Wow, gosh, there's so many. There's a general practice firm in Connecticut that dropped its family practice, its criminal practice, some trust and estate stuff because they discovered that they had a decent landlord-tenant practice. And within that, they said, we've got some fairly large housing authorities, and let's see if we could niche into that. And so there's a firm in Connecticut, landlordlawfirm.com, only representing landlords, not doing plaintiff side, and they now proudly and smartly have acquired most of the large Connecticut properties, the Avalon Courts, the national companies that have these big presences along every interstate, and many units because they specialized and they do seminars on management for these companies, and they get their business. So that's one example. And then there's a fellow in D.C., criminal defense. White Collar is the larger firm, started getting college students from the area who were charged not only with criminal practice violations, but with disciplinary code violations at risk of expulsion, suspension, loss of scholarship, and now he's got a site, year-and-a-half old, called dcstudentdefense.com, which viewers can look. And it's targeting exactly that. And he now gets regular work from all four corners of the United States because when people put in plagiarism lawyer, he shows up. And who would have thought to put in plagiarism lawyer? But when parents get the call in the middle of the night from the kid in college, like, no. They hop on the web. They call their lawyers, their local lawyers.
Right.
Their local lawyers say, "Where's the kid? We're in D.C." Gets on the web. D.C. is accused of plagiarism, hazing lawyer on campus, and he's adding people. It's become the major element.
So
of
it's kind of counterintuitive then that by narrowing your focus, you can actually grow your practice.
Yeah, I've heard it said that you never know how deep a niche can go until you begin to mine it. Now, it is true that you have to make sure you're doing your research externally to make sure you're aligned with a trend. You don't want to do niching into residential real estate in 2008. Not that was necessarily predictable,
right?
But you do want to look at where are future opportunities and what are the indicators that there will be more work. So it's a combination of what you love, where there is market need, where you have the ability to craft a message that aligns your interests, your expertise, and market need. And those circles are the bullseye.
Sure, and we've seen that firms that do that get more focused and can get more productive in the back office so that their profitability goes up because they can build some efficient systems.
Absolutely. The deeper you know, the easier it is to streamline and get very specific on how to do the work you are focusing on.
Absolutely. So if a viewer's saying, gee, I'm not sure about exploring this niche thing, I don't know where to start, what's a couple ways they could start wrapping their head around what niche or niches should I focus on?
Some of the key steps in that are doing a profitability analysis. So I always start when folks, after seeing a program I do, Law Niche Success, and say, I'm interested, well, let's go back to your last 5 years of matters, identify them, and then begin to find the patterns in them. What industries, what sectors, what demographics, whether personal demographics, or if you're a lawyer selling to consumers, or business demographics, i.e., capitalization size, years in business, stage of the business. So you begin to identify what did you like to do the most and what made you the most money. Those are two good, because you can find those together. Then you turn your view outwardly and start researching. What are the trends affecting these industries, these companies? Where are the opportunities? Is there potentially a niche there? Because you want to make sure that you're not giving up, throwing out the baby with the bathwater and other work that isn't in the niche, but which still, brings you some money.
Right.
And that's often a question people say, do I have to give up everything? No. But you need to begin focusing so you can differentiate into a particular area.
This can be an evolution over time.
Oh, absolutely.
And not just I'm going to fire all my clients that don't fit the model.
Right, that would not be
that would not be wise.
Business, practice.
So we've seen a lot of people been able to be successful with this, and really they wind up with happier practices because they're not only focusing on profitability, but the kind of law they really want to practice.
Yeah.
So
it's incredibly satisfying for the people who go through the process and then are successful at it.
They build long-term value in their firms as well, which helps them with succession, which is something we'll talk about some other time.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Thanks very much, Bill.
You're welcome.